We have a great guest, Villanova legend, Dwayne Anderson. Dwayne, thank you and welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. It's always a pleasure, chopping up with you, man. And we'll get into it later probably on the show, but it's an honor to just, I don't even know the impact that you had on my life. So thank you for everything.
Oh, man, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. For those who don't know, Dwayne came into Villanova University my senior year. He was a freshman, and it was great. I remember seeing you, and my first thought was, man, when I found out you was a two guard. You remember? I said, what position are you? Two guard. But as we know with Coach Wright, we're positionless. But the thought, I remember thinking, man, the size, athleticism, and your shooting ability was always something that stood out to me. Matter of fact, speaking of that, how was that when you first came in to Villanova? Like, take us into your mindset, because you were already friends with Dante, outside of school. And here you guys go as freshmen, and you meet us, Randy, myself, Kurt, Nardi is there, Will Sheridan is there. I mean, the whole crew is there. Kyle's there. So take us through that.
First of all, it was a pleasure to watch you guys compete, man, at a high level in high school. And then, coming into as a freshman, you think you're a hot shot. You think, the hottest thing on the block.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually had a TV show with Villanova, TV show with Jermaine Samuels and Collin, our captains. And I kind of shared this story that I don't really share too much. And, we come in, we think we're all like just big time players. I remember it vividly. I don't know if you remember this. But, as basketball players, we have these huge egos. And I remember our first open gym, man, I was like so excited, so amped up. And you're gonna die laughing at this, because you don't remember this, but I remember it.
Was it St. Mary's?
It was St. Mary's.
I remember. Go ahead, tell it.
Go ahead. I can't remember the entire play, but I got it on a fast. Like in high school, I'm dunking on everybody. Like every practice, AAU games, etc., just flying over everyone, dunking on everybody. And I don't know how this play happened, but somehow I guess someone bounced the ball back to me, and I get it. It's like slow motion. I get it. I cock it back. I'm looking into the rim at this point, and you happen to be right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like you waited for me to take off. And as soon as I was about to dunk it, I'm thinking, I'm about to dunk on this 6'10" animal. You just go up slow motion, catch it, block it, pass it outlet. And I don't know if you actually said this or I just said it in my mind. This is how I tell the story. Welcome to college. That was like my welcome to college. Like, college is not that easy. And from that point, you always just took me under your wing, and the impact that you had on me as a father, husband, coach, as a person, man. I don't think you understand, just watching you go through your experience, man, the toughness, the never complain about anything. When you dealt with a lot, man, it was one of the most impressive things for me to watch and witness, and help me become the man I am today.
Man, that means a lot, because I know we talk a lot, and we never, I guess there was the platform or the situation didn't present itself the way it does now. And it's touching. It's touching to hear you say that. And because when I was a freshman, that was what Gary Buchanan was for me. G did so much. He was the senior that I roomed with on the road. He was the senior that in practice, because I tell the story all the time, Ricky Wright used to beat the living snot out of me. Oh my gosh. Ricky Wright was a tank, and he used to beat he used to fling me like a rag doll my freshman year. He beat the crap out of me. But it was all love. I never felt like it was personal with him, but it was, this ain't easy. And this Big East basketball, this is what you got to get ready for. I'm a senior. I need you to step up early.
Right.
So here's what to expect. And Gary was always the one there when I was licking my wounds to help me dress my wounds, and he was just that guy for me. And I always looked up to G to this day. And I thank you, man. I thank you for saying that. That's touching, because that's what we try to be. We try to be players who go through an experience, understand the experience others go through, and just be that support, be that friend that in a time of need and be that guidance. But yeah, I mean, it was an exciting time. It was our senior year. It was great expectations. You guys came in, and I remember being very, very happy, because at that time, especially when you came, it was you. The young guys were you, Dante. We had Shane. We had Frank.
Yep.
Weezy was there, and it was just great. Kyle was there, right? And we had Bilal, Ben. Wow. Yeah, Bilal, Ben was there, and it was just great. It was just a great time, and it's about enjoying the moment, enjoying the process. Talking about that process, it was great to see you go through your whole entire evolution, to see the challenges of the Big East and the toughness and the intensity of it. But then you did a great job. You did a great job developing. Like, how was that going from freshman to sophomore, junior year? What were some pivotal moments that you remember?
I remember freshman just going up against, having 2-a-days and then having to practice versus you guys, the most competitive people in the world. Like, how am I going to get through this practice? I have to check Randy Floyd, Kyle Lowry, and Allen, right? Like what am I supposed to do with that? But that was me trying to become great. So it was good to watch my freshman year. And then after my freshman year, I'm thinking, it's my time. These guys are gone. I saw what it was, but then actually having the pressure and playing at that level, it took me into my junior year to get it. Sophomore year, I thought I was playing a lot of minutes, but for some reason, it didn't work out that way. And it's tough to play at a high level at the high level at the Big East, in the Big East. And for coach, it's a different way. It's a different mentality. I wasn't there mentally or physically. I thought I was. And coach is very direct and said, look, listen, I love you, but you're just not getting it here, man. I don't know if it's going to work out for you here. So if you really want to play and score all the points and play a certain way, then you need to go elsewhere. I'm thinking like, what? Like, I came here to play here. Like, how am I going to go to the NBA? That's my goal. If I can't play at Villanova, I can't play in the NBA. I'm not going anywhere. So, and I told my parents weren't happy. Told my AAU coach, he was livid. But as a man, I had to go through that. So that was a down. But I always had in the back of my mind that I would figure it out one way or another because of those practices my freshman year, going against you guys, and just seeing what it takes to compete every single possession. Is one thing to actually to watch it, but to actually do it is a whole nother beast. But that was the ups and downs. And then, my junior year and senior year, I kind of like put it together, knew what it was, knew practice, knew how to play hard. When I understood it, it was easy to push the other guys that's under me like you guys did for us. So, again, man, I know I'm probably going to say the same message. I cannot thank you and Randy, Kyle, etc. The list goes on and on. You talk about big brothers, Ricky, right. Gary. And I see it with the guys that like the newer era, kind of, I guess you can say, like how when Jalen Brunson comes back, he talks to Colin Gillespie. It is what we have, man, Villanova. It's a special thing, and I really cherish it, and I am very grateful to be a part of that.
Man, that's great, and you're bashful and you're humble. You know what I want to talk about. So you had your evolution. Mm-hmm. You went through the tough years. And you kept fighting. And what made me so proud of you was that Final Four, the Elite Eight into the Final Four run. Tell us about that. Take us through that whole entire. Take us from game one of the tournament and what you guys were thinking, and then progress all the way into that Final Four run, because that took us to another level.
Gotcha. So as when you played, we always took pride in trying to be the toughest team in the Big East. And this was something that was always programmed. And that's something how we were trying to play that entire season. And, we tried to be the toughest team. I remember, battles in the Big East, the old Big East too. Love the Big East now, but the old Big East was those were some battles right there. And I remember the first round in the tournament, we're playing against American University. We're in Philly. So, the fans are there. The fans are going crazy. We're down in the second half more than, I want to say, like 10, 12 points. So you can hear the energy in the arena. Like, is this going to be an upset? We just play, we try to play 40 minutes of basketball that coach always talked about, and had a good game. Dante had a good game, came back and figured it out. The next game, this was like there was some talks about us playing UCLA who's a blue blood. But for some reason, man, I think we got past like the being nervous the first game. We played extremely well that game, like extremely well, shot the ball well, good, played good on defense. So that game wasn't close. And then the next round we played Duke. I don't know what happened, but of course that was a big game to everyone as well. And we had another night of just playing extremely well, shot the ball well. They didn't shoot the ball so well, so we played, won that game, and then the Elite Eight was the Pitt. So we played Pitt that season. I want to say that was 3 times total, and every game, man, it came down to the wire. And you know this, you know this. Uh-huh. At halftime, usually the coaches they go over the game plan, talk adjustments, what can they change. Anytime Coach Wright comes directly into the locker room, he's not happy. He's about to go off.
Right.
On this day, I happen to be the person that he was going off for. So he storms in the locker room, the jacket's off. I think I had one point in the first half, and he just goes off. Like, you're supposed to be our leader, captain, etc. Some words are probably, just getting like after me. And as a captain, like I've been there, done that, big games. Yes, coach, I got you. I understand. We come out, we play well, get it closer. I think at the end of the almost 2 minutes to go, we're down 4. You can hear the energy like, oh, we're about to lose this game. I get still at half court in one. And then that's one of the biggest shots in NCAA history and Villanova history. Chris Jenkins is obviously number 1, but Scotty's shot to put us up, I want to say 1 or 2 to win that game was just something very special to be a part of. But for me personally, I think I ended up with 18 or 19 points. So
you were amazing.
Yeah, amazing. But something that those open gyms and St. Mary's and practices and all that prepares you for that moment. So it was pretty cool to be a part of, and something I could share and watch with my sons when they grow up. My sons are 4 and 2 right now. So can't wait to get to experience that when they can see, how like the jerseys now are like tight and the shorts.
Right.
It's funny looking at us when we played. It's like, how did you play in these baggy uniforms?
Right.
Like probably jump higher. So it's pretty cool.
That's nice. I remember where I was. I was with the Globetrotters, and you guys, if you remember, before Scotty hit the shot, it was a timeout.
Yes.
So I remember watching it. So we're at the game. We're at the game. I want to say Houston. I want to say we're at the Rockets Arena, and we're there, and I'm on a bench because with the Globetrotters, you have your reams, is what you call it, or your skits, and you run through your ream, and then when you're next up.
Right
before that, it was a Cupid shuffle that we all get off the bench. Like so someone makes a move in the game, and he goes, "You know what? It's break time." And then we down, do your dance, and then we jump up off the bench, right? So the clock was frozen. And remember, when you look in the arena, they don't show you the play. You'll just see the score tied, or you're down 1, up 1, and then all of a sudden the score changed, right? So it said, all of a sudden, everyone's watching because this is NCAA tournament, right? So everyone's there enjoying the game, but even the fans there are taking note to the score. All of a sudden, it was multiple. It was I want to say 2 scores up there. Then you see the Villanova one. Then it showed us up, and they just said, down, dude. I jumped up and I was yelling, to the right, hype. I'll never forget that, because Shagari Arleen, who went to Kentucky, he played with Rondo. He was from New York. I want to say he went to Rice high school. He was on the team. Who's still with the Trotters now, Will Bullard, and they were laughing. They were laughing because they know my personality.
Yeah.
And they knew. And think about it. At that moment, I just found out that my team is going to the Final Four, right? And literally, and then now I got to go into the skit. Oh man, it was great. It was great. Oh, it was great. I was letting everyone hear it. Annie and everybody was listening to it. And they're like, oh, gosh, we have to hear this all day. Yeah, all weekend. You have to hear it the whole entire time. So it was great, man. I was so proud of you guys. All of Nova Nation was proud of you. Let me tell you guys a little bit about our partners over at BetRiver Sportsbook. If you haven't signed up with the BetRivers yet, now's the time. BetRiver Sportsbook is offering a $250 match bonus for your first deposit. But what sets them apart is that they require just one play through to turn your bonus into cash. When you win at BetRiver Sportsbook, they pay fast. And now it's even faster with the Rush Pay instant approval for withdrawals. It's safe, it's secure, and it's reliable. With March Madness right around the corner, there's never been a better time to give BetRiver Sportsbook a try. Go to betrivers.com. That's BETRIVERS.com today. Or download the BetRivers iOS app. Must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. So the great thing about you did a great job of transitioning from player in college, played overseas, you come back and you start coaching, right? Take us through that. Take us through, because you a lot of people don't understand your coaching resume. Tell them how many years you've been in. Tell us the journey that you've taken from coaching.
So on my, I retired at an early age. I retired at 26. So I played professionally for 4 years, played in Italy for 1, and in Germany for 3 years. Absolutely loved it. Made some good money, saw, different culture, different food. It was a great experience. And I remember Coach Chambers, who was the coach at Penn State at the time, reached out. And Coach Wright always said, you'll be a great coach one day. And I always knew I wanted to be a coach when, my mom is, you need a plan B. When the ball stops bouncing, you need a plan. Like, all parents, great parents do. So I always knew I wanted to coach. I always knew I wanted to be around basketball. And then Coach Chambers said he had a job opening up for me. He had a job opening up when I would like to interview. It was a video coordinator. I'm like, Coach, I'm about to make some more money than I can, there's no way you're going to have, people that's been in this business, grown men dying for that. That salary is not, going to cut it for me at that point in my life. Then he came back, I want to say a few weeks or a month later, said, I have, what about assistant coaching? I'm like, that's a little intriguing now. That's right. I want to do this. I had like an injury at the time. And then I don't know if Coach Chambers knows this, but me and my wife, we came back home and I was supposed to go to interview. We go to Men's Warehouse, get a suit, drive up to Penn State, do the interview. In my mind, I was supposed to sign a contract the next week for 3 years, a lot of money. And it was just something about the people, the place, the university. I was like, you know what? Let's give it a try. My wife went to school. Let's give it a try. Like I always wanted to coach, and it was a great chance. A lot of people don't get that chance to jump right into it as assistant coach. They have to, either be GA or work their way up. I'm like, I don't know if I want to go, play for 10 years, make good money, but try to get back in the business. It's very difficult to do it that way, in my opinion. There's several ways to do it. So then I did that. I was like, let's do it. And she was like, are you serious? She was like, whatever you want to do, I'll support. So we did it, had a great time at Penn State. And then, how Coach Wright, he always grooms his coaches to be great head coaches.
Right.
So then I think I coached 4 years at Penn State as an assistant coach. And then one of Coach Wright's assistants left to become the head coach at LaSalle. So he had room on his staff, which was very, for me to play here and come back and to work for Coach Wright, one of the best in the business. I thought it was an amazing experience. We talked, we went back and forth, and it wasn't like, he said, like, if you want to go through this experience and you want to come back, you want to be a head coach, you can come, you can work with me, can groom you, and then when it's your time, you can go to be a head coach. But if your family, wouldn't be okay with the move and your wife wouldn't be okay, let's not do it. And a lot of head coaches won't, they don't take that approach. They just probably shouldn't say this. If it's best for them or their program, they would do whatever it takes just to get you. Coach Wright's approach was like, what's best for you? What's best for your future? What's best for your family? And I thought that was pretty impressive as him as a coach and a human being, which I always admired, playing for him. So then, now, I came to Villanova. My title was Director of Basketball Operations. But a lot of people are like, wait, so you go from assistant coach to a director of basketball operations? Like, isn't that a step down? And I like challenges. I like, for me, I looked at a lot of successful head coaches, and I think they worked their way up to learn all the different aspects of actually how to run a program and a business. That's why I did it. I wasn't worried about, going to assistant coach and down and trying to work. I want to be the best at it. I'm working for the best, so why would I not try to be the best? So that was and now I'm going to my third season at Villanova, and I absolutely love it. Always, trying to be a few steps ahead of coach, which is probably impossible, but I love the challenge and just trying to be a few steps ahead of coach.
Man, and like personally, I know I speak for myself. I speak for the other alumni. I speak for the other teammates that you played with, primarily your freshman year when I was on the squad. We're all proud of you. We talk about it all the time. We're proud of you, proud of Mike. We're proud of you guys. You guys are doing a great job. Even this year has been going well. I know we only had the 1-2. We had 2 tough losses, yep. Right? Mm-hmm. But I like how the team respond back. You've been there through the development of Collin, Jeremiah, and Jermaine. Speak about that, especially with them being, Jeremiah is the underclassman still, but one of the leaders of the team. Mm-hmm. With those 3 being leaders, along with others, how was it seeing their development? Especially Jeremiah going from freshman to sophomore, making that big jump where you just never tell with them. How was it seeing all of that? Take us through your experience with that.
Just watching them develop as students, basketball players, but most importantly, human beings is why I wanted to coach. And so anytime my sons are around, like, they have an impact on my sons. They're role models, they're mentors, and they just go about everything the right way. Like, there's no issues. You don't have to worry about, and they actually want to get better every single day, on the court and off the court. And their families have done an amazing job of, raising their kids. The values of their parents, on top of them, the same thing. You're going to show up, you're showing up, you're on time, you're being respectful, you sit in front of the class, all the things that are probably minor details. Their parents are on the same page. Like, no, don't call me complaining. This is why you went to Villanova. You want to be challenged. You want to be a superstar on and off the court. And Collin, Jeremiah, and Jermaine, they take this approach, and they don't complain, and they just constantly get better every single day. Jeremiah's progression kind of reminds me of Sadiq Bey, who played 2 years here. Mm-hmm. But just another one, just wants to work, wants to get better, compete. And Jeremiah, his ability to focus on a little detail as far as like his shooting technique. Like last year, he was shooting a little bit of threes, but his confidence that he shoots it with now is because he puts in the time, he puts in the effort, and he just works, and he wants to get better, and he wants to be great. So it's a pleasure working with these guys, just because they're just great kids and great mentors.
Yeah, and so looking at Collin, people don't realize the position of a point guard, that leadership position, being responsible so much for the offense, but also the overall character and feel of the team. Mm-hmm. How was it seeing his poise? Talk about the things that don't show up in the stats that people don't realize his impact on the team.
The things that don't show up on the stats are the time that he spends with Jeremiah, the time that he spends with the walk-ons, the time that he's watching film. I remember yesterday there was a moment in the game where coach, we're in a huddle. Coach is talking and giving his message, and then Collin, as soon as coach was done, Collin is talking to everyone in the huddle. This is at the end of the game, mind you. Brian Antoine, who's a whole other story of the ups and downs, injuries, bad timing. Brian Antoine is in the game, and he's taking his time to explain it to the young guys in this huddle. Like Brian Antoine, I want to say, was on his right. Eric Dixon was in the game. I want to say Chris Archidakini was in the game. And just like the end of the game, this is towards the end of the game.
Right.
he was still in this game, and he was taking this as a teaching moment that, like, everything matters. We're going to play 40 minutes. Like, that the defensive scouting report, like, this is why we're doing it, and this is the situation where we just messed it up. Let's fix it the next possession. The game's almost over. He's about to come out the game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. I told him he's going to be a great coach one day. I don't think he understands that moment was so important for the young guys and our leaders on our team to see, especially for our leaders that's going to end up being leaders next year when Collin moves on and when Jeremiah moves on, or Jermaine. It was, and I don't say this just to put this out there. And I've been around great leaders,
right.
A lot of Villanova big time players and leaders. Collin Gillespie's up there with one of the best captains that came through Villanova. And that's a big statement for how we, like you say, you watch all the games, the moment, like the Final Four. I do the same thing. And he's up there. Man,
I agree with you. I see, being a coach myself, I can see the things that he does. Like the team goes as he goes. Mm-hmm. There's other parts of it, but team goes as he goes. Regardless of what type of defense another team is playing, what type of style, I always watch to see what he does. Because when he adjusts, that's when we start hitting another gear. If he dictates the tempo, he dictates the flow, he initiates the offense, and he keeps it going. And I just love his leadership. And I can see the leadership that he does without actually seeing him being he's verbal, but without him being verbal, the nonverbal action. Who's another guy who's I love them all, but I don't know, something about me gravitates to Jermaine. Mm-hmm. Because I always seen him as the guy that's capable of such greatness, but greatness how people see it in terms of points, rebounds, stats. But I could tell that he accepts his role, and when he's called upon to do more, he does that. How is he as a person, and how accurate is that depiction that I have of him?
He is that is 100% accurate. He just he has a good feel for the game of when, not to do too much, and to pick his moments in the game where, he has to get a big time rebound. He pump fakes and drives and gets that foul. That's it. That's very, very important in our program. And he does an amazing job at it. Sometimes the ball comes to him and he can shoot more threes, mm-hmm. but he knows the timing of when to do that. When sometimes you might have to, swing it to Collin Gillespie. If you get Collin Gillespie going, that changes the whole game for us. So just for him to still do that and progress and keep getting better was a major reason why we're very successful. And he's a type that so when I bring my sons to the gym, mm-hmm. they're all great. But I don't know, something about him where he goes out his way, he talks to them, and my kids, they call him, his nickname is Mano. They call him Mino. And the way he's around my kids in the gym, it's so surreal for me to be back at Villanova, played here, coach, and to watch these guys are big brothers to my sons. I know Coach has I might have the best job in the world, man.
Hey, I can't argue that. So two things. Got Creighton coming up, right? Yep. How do you feel as a team about going to Creighton, just in general? How do you feel about because we know in the program the most important game is which one?
The next game.
The next game, baby. The next game. So the most important game of the year is coming up. It's the next game. Yeah. What's your feel? How do you feel about the team? How do you feel in general about this game coming up? The mental state and in terms of readiness and preparation.
Now, I think they're good. We're gonna take today, watch a little bit of film, practice tomorrow morning, fly out tomorrow afternoon, and we have an early game in Creighton. And Creighton, they're having a great season. Dealt with some injuries. They were top 10 at one point. But they're hard to guard. They're quick. A lot of those guys can shoot threes, go off the dribble. So this is going to be a good, test for us to go on the road. It's not the same with the fans not there, but those players are playing like, it's their biggest game too. So we have to take the same approach. And I think we're at a good place. We have some leaders that have been there, done that, know what it takes to win on the road. So we'll see, we'll see what happens. It should be another Big East great game.
Yep. I have a game that's starting at the same time, but my game is not nearly as long. So, I'm going to be catching the game, and I'm going to be excited to watch you guys, and I'm be rooting you guys on. So, lastly, before
your last thought, I hope I don't throw you off. And I've seen you coaching and great things, your great message. Is there anything that you kind of do? You know how like when your parents, you say, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be like my parents. Like I'm going to do something different. And then it's like full circle. You start doing some things.
Oh my gosh.
Anything that you do coaching wise that drove you crazy here that you do as a coach now that, under Coach Wright?
Coach, I'm sorry, Coach Wright. I do a lot. Half the stuff I do is what Coach do. And I literally would say things, turn to my assistant coach and say, I can't believe I'm saying this. This is the same stuff Coach Wright used to say. And I used to go nuts with him saying these things. And my wife saw me one time, she said, that's the same stuff Coach Wright used to say, man, there's a point to all of this, and it was great. And it's the things I remember Coach getting us on the baseline. I want to say we were sophomores, right? Because he's getting his second half of sophomore year, getting ready to go into junior year. That's when you start taking over leadership. That's when there's high expectations. There's no excuse. You just got to be ready. And he said, you guys think I'm talking to you about X's and O's. I'm talking to you about being a man. I'm trying to make you guys men. And even in practice, holding everyone accountable, having intensity, all those things, So it's all those things that's there. But last thing with you, is there anything that you would that you want to share with kids who are in high school or that their kids are in college and they're looking to be great? From a coach's perspective, what little snippet could you tell them?
Oh man, it's a great question. I would say for younger kids, one, you have to outwork everyone. And two, everyone's race is different. Everyone's path is different. I was highly recruited, didn't play my freshman year, didn't play my sophomore year, was told to pretty much, go elsewhere if you want to, score all the points.
Right.
But no, I did not run away from that. Mm-hmm. I continued to get better, had a great attitude. I know that word attitude that Coach Wright talks about. But I just had a great attitude. And I feel like if you never know when your time is going to come. If you always prepare and you'll be ready for those moments. So just continue to work. Don't give up on yourself. Others might, but continue to work. And I would have never thought I was playing in a Final Four as a captain and having, a big time game to get to that point. But you just never know what's going to happen. Just, put in the work, listen to your coaches, listen to your parents. That would be the advice that I give to any young kids out there playing.
Coach Anderson, we thank you for joining us at Blueblood on the Mainline. It was a pleasure having you on. We look forward to seeing you guys play tomorrow. Saturday. We look forward to the greatness that's to come to this year and also the development of your career as a coach. Thank you. Take care. God bless you. Look forward to speaking to you again.
Thanks, man. Be safe.